The Madman! Welcome to my Demon Hunter star review for Ashes of Outland. And this is a big one because this is the biggest change that has happened to Hearthstone in a while. Brand new class, really impactful right off the bat because 45 new class cards have been added for this class. Technically 15 for Ashes of Outland and 30 introduced in prior sets, but because they're all coming out at the same time, we're going to cover every single Demon Hunter card. In my opinion, how it's going to shake out is there's going to be two Tier 1 Demon Hunter decks. That's Highlander Demon Hunter and Midrange Demon Hunter. There's going to be a Tier 2 Demon Hunter deck, Face Demon Hunter. There's going to be a Tier 3 Demon Hunter deck, which is Token Demon Hunter. And there's going to be a Tier 4 deck, which is like Big Control Demon Hunter. That's with big demons or something like that. And I feel like they don't really have the tools for that yet. So first, I'm going to separate out 5 specific Demon Hunter cards to fit into the exact Token Demon Hunter archetype. They are clearly made for that specific part. And because I feel like each of these cards is going to only be played in exactly Token Demon Hunter, but it's possible that they see play somewhere else, I'm rating all of these cards 3 stars across the board. So you have big token generators, that would be Coordinated Strike, and that would be Command the Illidari. On the baseline, that's decent, but when you really look at it, the 3 mana card is just worse Bs most of the time. So that's why I think it's only going to be exactly in the token thing, or a deck that incorporates the token package. You generate these tokens, use other cards that are more swarmy in order to feast on their souls, draw a bunch of cards, in order to do a bunch of damage with Raskil Naga. You play to Command the Illidari, and then you sacrificed all those tokens. You could do a lot of damage. And you could just have Nethrin Damus in your hand and then sacrifice a bunch of tokens. And then that card is going to be ending up a very serious tempo play, rivaling even Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, as you play your 9 mana 8/8 and summon, who knows, maybe even 2 10-drops with it. So that's a pretty interesting archetype. Demon Hunters also have another major mechanic, and that's interaction with them themselves entering the fray and attacking. Obviously, their hero power being 1 mana, your hero gains 1 attack, will interact with a bunch of these things, but also everything that interacts with after your hero attacks, or give your hero +1 attack, or weapons in general, fit into this general category. Blur, 1 star. I don't believe it's worth 1 card in order to save yourself. I would estimate like 3 or 5 damage that you'll save from not taking combat damage. Twin Slice, 5 stars. Even if you're really unimaginative, this is simply 0 mana, deal 2 damage, which is pretty solid, especially for an aggressive deck. But if you manage to combine this with other cards which have after your hero attacks effects, then you're getting some serious value. On top of that, this card also combos with Altruist, which can potentially deal 2 damage to all enemies with a single Twin Slice, possible stacking with your weapons effects. You've got the ability to move cards further to the left because Twin Slice is so cheap to cast, you can just take it away from the left side of your hand. I expect to see that in quite a lot of decks. Battle Fiend, 5 stars. I expect to see Battle Fiend in just about every single Demon Hunter deck. It's a very solid 1 mana 2/2, and of course, there's already a neutral 1 mana 2/2, which has been widely played. This card is not just a 1 mana 2/2, but it upgrades its attack very often. So 1 mana 3/2, wow. 1 mana 4/2, 1 mana 5/2. It's really good. Shadowhoof Slayer, 2 stars. Given that your hero powers already give your hero +1 attack, this is basically paying 0 mana for 2/1, which is basically Wisp. You can stack using your hero power and playing Shadowhoof Slayer, but I mean the effect is obviously minor since your hero power values it at just 1 mana. I simply don't see it as strong enough, but it is possible that a Face Hunter deck wants to play so many cheap cards that they throw in the Shadowhoof Slayer anyways. Blade Dance, 2 stars. I think given the other Demon Hunter cards being so strong, Blade Dance looks like a very good Blade Flurry. You don't destroy your weapon, you're doing a bunch of AoE, but it isn't to all enemy minions, it's just a 3. I just feel like Demon Hunter has better options, it's not really looking for this. But that said, like Blade Dance, I do see potential in that card. Chaos Strike, 3 stars. This reminds me a lot like of the Warrior Slam. And perhaps even more importantly, this can combo with other cards that make you want to attack. It can combo with your weapons. Your weapons might give lifesteal, they might do cleaving damage. So, potential filler card. Furious Felfin, 5 stars. That's a 2 mana 4/2 with Rush, if your hero attacked. And given how easy it is to attack with your hero, 2 mana deal 4 is quite good. And you can just play it on the board as a 4/2, which is a major threat. You can even play it on the board as a 3/2, just for tempo on turn 2. And yes, that's not a very exciting play, but it's a solid one. Umberwing, 5 stars. This is one of the best Demon Hunter cards. It is central to this entire bucket. It's also central to tokens. It's also just a really efficient card. It's a muster for battle for 2 mana instead of 3 mana, and you get a little bit less, but given that so many of your cards want you to attack, it's so much better than muster for battle. Eldrazi Warblades, 5 stars. I feel like this card mostly goes in the Highlander Demon Hunter. This card combos with your hero power in order to make it 3 attack. It combos with other things that gives your hero power more attack, because then you not only do more damage, you also lifesteal more health. Demon Hunter will be using a lot of health, so being able to steal back minimum 6 is a really big deal. Satyr Overseer, 5 stars. I expect to see this card in a number of decks as well, because if you simply attack, you get a 6/4 for 3 mana, or you can get a 6/4 for 4 mana if you press your hero power also. It's cards like Furious Felfin and Satyr Overseer and Battle Fiend which make these early low-cost weapons like Umberwing and Eldrazi Warblades especially good too. Gravebound Adept, 5 stars. It was just a little while ago that I was raving about how good Sunreaver Warmage was. Gravebound Adept really blows that out of the water, with +3 attack on the Sunreaver Warmage, and an effect that's nearly, maybe even easier to achieve than Sunreaver Warmage, just attack. So hopefully you've gotten one of the previous weapons equipped by now, but if not, you can always just use your hero power and then play Gravebound Adept as a 6-drop. I expect to see Gravebound Adept as the finisher in face Demon Hunter decks, as well as certainly a 1-of in Highlander, might even make the cut of 2-of in mid-range. He's real good. Warglaze of Azzinoth is a interesting Demon Hunter card, 1 star. This does notably work with Blur, so if you want the duet of bad cards, just Warglaze of Azzinoth, Blur, and hit 4 things and take no damage, combo. But ultimately, I think there are better Demon Hunter weapons to be running here, such as Flame Reaper, 5 stars. This card doesn't only deal 4 damage with Cleave, by the way. You just press your hero power and can deal 5. And if you play any of your give your hero plus attack cards while you're running Flame Reaper, you're basically tripling the effect of the plus attack card. And finally, we have the big spell of the Demon Hunter, Inner Demon, 2 stars. I feel like this card is just too unwieldy to use. Worth mentioning that Firebat did try him out in his Highlander Demon Hunter deck though, but I feel like Highlander decks will be going for something more practical than that. So those are all the attack-related cards for Demon Hunter. And now, the other cards. Consume Magic, 3 stars. I feel like this is an appropriate tech card if the meta ever has too many things that need to be silenced. Notable good targets for this are primes. If Death Rattles come back in force, you can always steal their magic. Crimson Sigil Runner, 5 stars. 1 mana 2/1 draw a card, that's obviously really good. I will note that this is less good than you think it is, because it does look really insane. However, it is surprisingly annoying when a big card ends up being on your left. That said, expect every deck to run it. It's just, don't take it as 1 mana 2/1 draw a card. It's not that good, but it's really good. Mana Burn, 1 star. It's just not worth a slot because you never really know if you're gonna make your opponent's turn awkward for a full card use from you. Urzul Horror, 5 stars. I think Urzul Horror will be used in Face Demon Hunter as well as Highlander Demon Hunter, maybe mid-range Demon Hunter. Demon Hunters can just hero power and kill your Urzul Horror. So I will say that Urzul Horror is perhaps not as good if there are a lot of Demon Hunters out there, but even if the Demon Hunters are using their hero power to smack your Horror, they're taking a net 4 damage. So if you're dealing 4 damage for 1 card down, that's not too bad. Emulation Aura, 5 stars. It's really efficient for what it does. When you're behind, it's simply 2 mana to deal 2 damage to everything. and that's a really good price to pay. Another walker, 3 stars. This card, I think, might make it into Highlander Demon Hunter, but that's only a might. I can see it being just not quite good enough to make the top 30 possible cards in a Demon Hunter deck. 2 mana 2/2s, which generate a mediocre card, are slowly being, not that powerful. Sightless Watcher. This is a seriously overrated card. 2 stars. I think it's not good enough to even make the cut in Highlander Demon Hunter, but it's going to be tried. Where it differs from tracking is that it does not give you the card immediately. And yeah, it's cool to have a better than usual draw on your turn following a Sightless Watcher, but what if you just had all good cards in your deck? I'm not going to deny that the effect is good, but a 2 mana 3/2 with a good effect just doesn't cut it sometimes. Spectral Sight, 3 stars. This card has the very strong potential to be 2 mana to draw 2 cards. And 2 mana to draw 2 cards is pretty solid. It's especially bad in big decks where you can't reliably outcast it. Also notably, it's not as great of a top deck when you still have cards in your hand, because if you just pay the 2 mana to draw 2, that's anti-tempo. Normally with card drawing cards, you want to play them last. So you'll probably usually Spectral Sight when it's on the left side of your hand. Don't get baited to playing it right as you draw it just because it's glowing yellow. Altruist the Outcast, 5 stars. Like I mentioned, Altruist the Outcast probably combos the best with Twin Slice, because for simply 3 mana, it is possible that you put out a 3 mana 3/2 and deal 2 damage to everything on the opponent's side, and you can attack something for 2. Past just that early tempo play, if you play him late, you can deal a lot of damage. It can be like a Flame Strike level, plus you get a 3/2 threat that has to be dealt with. I-Beam, 5 stars. This will often be 0 mana, deal 3, and heal 3. And sometimes you're gonna have to pay 3 mana for it, and that's weak, but it's not that weak. That's a really strong card for Demon Hunter. I expect to see it in every single Demon Hunter deck. Ashtongue Battlelord, 5 stars. I put this card in my mid-range Demon Hunter deck. I think it might be good enough to be in there. It'll certainly be in Highlander. If control variants roll around, it should be there too. The lifesteal on top of the Sen'jin Shieldmaster stats just push it over the top. Soul Cleave, 3 stars. I think this might see play in Highlander. I think it should be worth 1 extra mana on Cleave to gain 4 health. Cleave isn't actually played, so will Soul Cleave see play? Well, when you have to put 30 cards into your Demon Hunter deck, I think Soul Cleave might make the cut as one of the final spots. Illidari Fellblade, 5 stars. Needless to say, I think a 4 mana 5/3 Battle Cry deal 5 damage to a minion is really good. That's basically what Rush and Outcast Immune does. Card is notably bad when you don't outcast it, so make sure you put it in a deck that can, which is probably not a control deck, but mid-range, Highlander, maybe Face. That's a pretty aggressive stat line. Kayn Sunfury, 5 stars. I'm gonna say that I don't think that Kayn Sunfury is that insane, but certainly he's gonna be in Face Hunter, and I think he's going to find a slot in Highlander Hunter. In mid-range, I wouldn't even fault you if you didn't put Kayn Sunfury in. It is a big surprise card, and its stats aren't that bad. They're good enough to let me reluctantly move it to 5 stars, even though I think it is overrated because some people think it's 6-star material. Raging Fell Screamer, 2 stars. There are a number of demons that you would love to play on curve for 5 mana after Raging Fell Screamer, or even for 6 mana. But for those things to happen, you have to both have the demon available, and you have to have Raging Fell Screamer at 4 or 5. So a card that's really only good when played on exactly turn 4 or turn 5 might not be that good. It kind of suffers the Dragon Consort problem. I expect it's going to be tried out, and it's not going to be that good. Soul Split, 1 star. I just feel like 4 mana to copy a demon, it's not that good. There aren't that many great demon choices right now, but possibly in the future we might revisit Raging Fell Screamer and Soul Split when Demon Hunter gets some really big demons. Chaos Nova, 5 stars. I think this card's going to be great in Highlander Demon Hunter. If you're behind, it's a 5 mana Flame Strike. So I think it's a really good one of, and in control Demon Hunters, not that I think that'll work, maybe a 2 of. Imprisoned Antane, 5 stars. And I still hold by that it's insane. It might be strong enough that maybe Face Demon Hunter runs it. Probably not, because it does do nothing until turn 7, but you know, it could be their big finisher on 7. In mid-range Demon Hunter and Highlander Demon Hunter and in big Demon Hunters, certainly the sheer stat line, the big effect, the fast effect, in that it does do something immediately on 7 when it wakes up, that's worth it. Metamorphosis, 5 stars. That's a great finisher for a Face Hunter deck. It's a great one-of in both Mid-Ranger and Highlander Demon Hunters. And, heck, even big Demon Hunters will run it. Skull of Gul'dan, 5 stars. This card is so good that, you know, I'm always tempted to be like, you know, should I rate certain cards 6 stars? Skull of Gul'dan is one of the ones that I, you know, would consider it for, but it is the top of the line Demon Hunter card. You definitely want it in your mid-range and Highlander Demon Hunter and bigger Demon Hunter decks, because, well, the bigger your deck, the more likely you are to get a full cost reduction of 9 on your 3-card draw, which means for -4 mana, you've drawn 3 cards. It's even good in a Face Hunter deck, because you're not going to get the full discount, but 5 mana to draw 3 cards, and then like even get a 3 cost reduction if you somehow draw 3 1 costs. That's 2 mana to draw 3 cards. So yeah, it's really good. It's going to be in all the Demon Hunter decks. Similar to Spectral Sight, I will warn you that when you top deck Skull of Gul'dan, you're going to be really tempted to play it. Just remember the fundamentals, that you want to draw your cards last. You refuel after playing your tempo. But admittedly, when that card is glowing on your right side, you are tempted to play it. It's going to be a major skill test to know when is the right time to do it, when is the right time to let it just go to the left. Rascale Brute, 5 stars. I think this is a very good defensive tool, primarily for Highlander Demon Hunter and then big Demon Hunter decks. I think mid-range Demon Hunter probably doesn't want to play this, as its stats are a bit low. But when you're playing this as a one-of, and you have to put 30 cards in your deck, I think this is not that much weaker than the other cards, that you wouldn't feel too bad about including it in your deck as a one-of in Highlander. Fell Summoner, 1 star, and I just feel like the demons aren't there for the Fell Summoner to really take advantage of. And really, when you're paying 6 mana to cheat out a demon, it's like, you're not really saving that much mana. Priestess of Fury, 5 stars. That is basically a Ragnaros level of effect at the end of your turn. Actually better than Ragnaros' effect, because 6 damage randomly split can kill a bunch of small guys, whereas Ragnaros' shot only kills 1 guy. You can run 2 Priestess of Furies. What can I say? Run it in the mid-range, run it in the Highlander, run it in the big demons. And in fact, it is because of cards like Priestess of Fury and Imprisoned Antane and Skull of Gul'dan that you're pulled away from Face Demon Hunter and you're pulled into mid-range and Highlander. Hence why I primarily think that those 2 archetypes are stronger than Face Demon Hunter. Quillfang Warlord, 5 stars. I think you definitely put in a copy in the Highlander. I think it's strong enough to put 2 copies in the mid-range, and bigger. 14 worth of stats for 8 mana, of which one side has Rush, one side has Taunt. It doesn't even necessarily die immediately when you rush into something, which is typically good. A little bit of a skill tester, because sometimes you're going to want to kill off your Warlord by making maybe not a great trade in order to get the Taunt if you feel in danger. Hulking Overfiend, 5 stars. I think this card certainly deserves a 1 spot in the Highlander. It might fit into mid-range, and certainly a great demon for the big demon decks. You can play it, and then you can get rid of a lot of small minions, and then when it has 1 health, you can even kill a big minion with the 5/1 rush. And even better, you can just play it as an 8 mana 5/10 if your opponent has nothing. So really flexible card. It can be played as just AoE and not have a minion left over. It can be played as single target removal and have like a small thing left over. A lot of different ways to deliciously make use of the value Hulking Overfiend card. And finally, we end with the big card in Demon Hunter, but not really that exciting a card. It's Pit Commander, 1 star. I think eventually when a bigger demon than Pit Commander, or more big demons come out, Pit Commander could be extremely exciting. But right now, there aren't enough demons to really justify playing this big Demon Hunter card, I think, and big Demon Hunter deck. So there you have it. Demon Hunter certainly looks like it's going to make an explosive entry onto this scene. So I expect Demon Hunter to have some extreme popularity right at the opening, which does mean that you can bust out your tech, such as Sacrificial Pact, early on, and really kill those Demon Hunters. But don't worry, I think ultimately Demon Hunter will settle down to be a fair deck. It is very clearly, at the moment, a decent mid-range deck slash Highlander deck, and that means that decks that are traditionally good against mid-range or Highlander decks will be good against Demon Hunter as well. What are those decks? You'll have to watch the other videos to see.